The new jobs report for the month of April was just released. Man, it looks terrible. Say hi, Amy.
Hi.
Amy's with me today, and we're just chilling at the pool. But I had to come on here. I wanted to make a quick video because the Non Farm Payroll report was absolutely terrible. They were expecting over 200,000 jobs to be added to the economy for the month of April. It turns out there was only 170,000. So huge miss right there. Another shocking fact from that report was the unemployment rate went up. And you know, I have actually been talking about this a long time, but I feel like not that many people have listened to me on it. Although there are a lot of other people talking about this too. So I'm glad to hear this message is starting to resonate with other people who are communicating to their audience the same thing, which is that although there's all of these job gains happening every single month, 170,000 is still, they say that if we have 100,000 jobs added each month, then unemployment should be unchanged. So the fact that we had 170,000 jobs added and unemployment went up should be a red flag. And why is that even happening? How is that even possible that we add all these jobs and unemployment went up? Well, it's probably because the people who are getting these jobs are not unemployed. They probably already have a job and they're just getting another one, or they're getting a third one. And that seems to be sort of the trend in the economy, is people are not making enough money from their jobs, and it's not affordable to just have one job anymore. This is why you see people who have jobs getting another one, maybe a third one. And I think another thing that I wanted to break down on the video today was what you actually get in that jobs report and some of the statistics and what you're gonna learn if you actually read inside of it. So where exactly what sectors of the economy are all these job gains happening in? Because on one hand, you hear about all these jobs popping up and all these jobs being added, yet what sectors are adding those jobs? Because you also see news articles. Whoa, it looked like a turtle right there. I think we just saw a turtle. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
We're gonna go down here and see if we can see that turtle. But the sectors are, you will also see news articles of layoffs. You know, Netflix just did layoffs. The cool thing about Amy is she actually does recruiting. So what other layoffs have you seen?
Besides tech?
Yeah, you told me a big one the other day.
Who was that? I forgot.
Nike was it.
Yeah.
Nike did layoffs.
Just a lot of tech.
And a lot of tech, but even outside of tech too, retail is seeing a lot of sell-offs too. And basically the jobs that are being lost are the high paying jobs, the ones that actually give you a really good wage. So typically it's like, you know, you don't want to work 2-3 jobs. That's not what people want to do with their time. People would rather enjoy leisure, not work. So when you have a strong economy, you don't see people getting 3-4 jobs just to support themselves. You see people having one job, and that the wages of that job pay enough for people to survive, right? That's why in the 1960s, 1970s, you didn't have a lot of women working. Like, you just didn't. You didn't see that a lot, not because women weren't capable of working, women weren't smart enough. It wasn't anything like that. It was just that you didn't have to do that. You know, people would rather stay home and raise their kids, which is really not a reality anymore. People aren't really staying home because they have so many jobs and they're working all the time. So on one hand, you see all these layoffs happening, and then you get these jobs reports that are just always explosive, always so many jobs being added. So when I actually went in and read that report, what we found out is that healthcare was the #1 sector that we saw the job growth. Now, when I say healthcare, I'm not talking about surgeons. I'm not talking about doctors with PhDs. I'm talking about usually like ambulatory staff. These are like EMTs and stuff like that. Still very important jobs, but let's be honest, that's not the high paying one, right? Those are not the high paying, high quality jobs that people want. Those are the low paying, low wage jobs where people have to end up getting a second job just to support themselves because the wages from that first job won't help them enough. So healthcare is #1. Now, on the last report, we didn't see too many government jobs being added, which is a good thing. We only saw, I think, about 5,000 jobs come from the government sector, or the public sector, I should say, which we want that to be low. We do not want to see a lot of job gains in government, which has been all over a lot of the other reports. So when we look at March, February, January, those reports, lots of government jobs being added. So that is not a good thing. We want to see job growth in the private sector, not the public sector. So the problem is though, is that we have the opposite. We have the private sector is laying off a lot of people, trying to save money and boost earnings, and the public sector hiring a lot of people, and government spending will go up because of that. So something else I wanted to mention. What else did I want to mention? Oh, I wanted to mention the revisions. So in the fine print of the reports, and this is why you got to really read them at the bottom, all the way down to the bottom. Go look at the last.
There must be a gator behind you because this is the Wildlife Conservative Gator Catchers.
Got the gator catchers out. They might actually be catching something big. But I want you guys to go and read like the fine print of the reports. Go to the bottom, scroll all the way down, and you will find the revisions. So whenever they have to revise the data down. So for example, March was a report that they revised up. I believe they actually revised March numbers up, but for February, they revised them like 30,000 jobs to the downside. So originally they'll report in February that there was 200,000 jobs added, for example. And then a couple months later, they're gonna revise that number from 200,000 down to 170,000. So this is why I don't even really rely on these reports too much. It seems like and this is why I go by reality. I look at people around me. I ask people in my audience over on TikTok and Instagram, like what their experience is. But a lot of them are saying the same thing, which is, it's hard to get a job. And Amy, being a recruiter, knows this. She knows it's very difficult to get a job, especially in tech. Thankfully, she does healthcare recruiting. So that's very robust. And that actually shows up on the report. So that seems accurate. But when it comes to, I'm gonna switch arms because my arm is tired. But when it comes to tech, high paying jobs, things like that, you see a lot of layoffs. So these job reports are very deceiving. That's what I wanted to make the theme of this video out to be. By the way, we're walking at the Ritz-Carlton, Orlando. The Ritz-Carlton Residences right here. Oh my gosh, that is a dream right there. That's where I want to end up in life, is right in those residences. Those things are clean. They look brand new too. They're still being built, I think. But yeah, I mean, this is why I tell people just be very skeptical of any government data you get, whether it's the jobs report, whether it's the CPI, whether it is the PCE. All of these reports that come from the government are ridiculous. I mean, it's almost like they're just guessing what the number is. And then a couple months later, a month or 2 months later, they will go back and revise the data down when no one's paying attention. So this is just, in my opinion, it's very hard to trust what the government is telling us is going on. It is way more worth it to look at what's happening in reality and see what the collective experience is of society. It's much more accurate. And based on what I've heard, it's very difficult to get a job right now. A lot of people are getting more jobs, and this is just not the direction that a strong economy goes in. So this is why I tell you guys to watch out and be so careful with the way that you're positioning your portfolios, particularly people who are heavy in tech, particularly people who are heavy on risk on assets. Like those things, you've got to be careful about those, because the economy, I do not think, is as robust as other people are thinking. And if you get surprised, if you get, we can't go in here? No? Okay, we gotta turn around. Then, I think people will lose a lot of money. So it is so important that you are positioned correctly to be able to handle any kind of downside that would come from shocks from investors who realize what really is going on. Also, I want to put a little outro in here before I forget. For people who are new to the stock market and you don't know a lot, you don't have a lot of experience or prior knowledge about trading or investing, shoot me a message, okay? I can help you out. If you guys need someone to mentor you or you want someone to guide you, I can help you out. And as always, make sure that you guys subscribe and like the video here. That way you can get more of my content and updates as we go on. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next video.